will inform you
This
that
meeting is being recorded.
Yeah. So, welcome again. Everybody has accepted to be for the General Assembly to be recorded. So, I'm Aurora Fregonard, General Secretary. Well, I will just, for the moment, I will just present the agenda for today. We also put thanks Felicitas for that. So we are starting from with a report from DiscourseNet of what has been done in these 2 years. Then there will be a report from the groups. Some of our groups working on different topics, but I would like to stress that there's also a lot of work for managing this association that maybe you cannot see, like membership management and the website management. That's also requires some acknowledgement, let's say. Then Michael, our treasurer, will present the financial report, and we will have to vote on that because we are an association that actually refers to German law, so we need a formal approval for the financial report. Then we will be asking also your vote for the approval of some small changes we made it to the status. And then there will be time for question and debate. And at this point, I will leave the micro to Felicitas, who will presenting the election procedure. Since this year, as you may know, we are also renovating the steering group and also the board. So I now leave the micro to Benno Herzog, the DiscourseNet president, in order to report what has been done. So Benno, it's up to you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Aurora. Hello, everybody, dear colleagues and friends, dear members of DiscourseNet, of the association, but it's also a public event, so welcome also all those interested in DiscourseNet without being member. Thank you all for being here today in this assembly, which is the highest organ of decision-taking in Discourse, and thank you for this democratic process. In DiscourseNet Paris in 2019, from a network of discourse researchers into an association, nobody could anticipate we had to face the enormous challenges of COVID-19 or pandemic, and especially for a group as ours that always was characterized by flat hierarchies, by collegial participation, and by a whole lot of fun. This was an extremely big challenge. We had to cancel events or reorganize them, and we were only very slowly able to come back to events where people would really come together, first online and then physically. Since the actual group of legal representatives and the new board took over in November 2021, we started slowly going back to face-to-face events, first with a winter school in Valencia, then with a conference in Mar del Plata in Argentina, which was our first ever event in Latin America, and finally with a big DiscourseNet conference this summer in Valencia with more than 300 participants. But at the same time, we learned also from the advantages of online events and organized several of them, like the Visual Linguistic Conference, the workshop on decolonizing discourse studies, and the ad hoc conference about war and peace in the face of the Russian war of aggression against Ukraine. Furthermore, we started online reading groups in English and Spanish. And also for the next years to come, we have a full list of events. They will be in 2024, the 8th Winter School in Valencia, organized by Sabine Heiss and Annette Knaut and others, about discourse studies and power from the margins. In spring 2024, there will be the DN30 conference in Gießen, Germany, about knowledge cultures. In September or October, in Graz, there will be DN 31 about hate and violence from past to present. And in June 2024, there will be a joint event with DN and DPVAC in Budapest, organized by Peter Furko. And then we have the big conference we have every 2 years, which will be in 2025 in Brussels, organized by Jan Zinkowski. And for the first time, I think ever, in 2024, the N32 in Romania. I think it's the first time ever we go to Romania. And probably there will be also a lot of other ad hoc events during this time. I would really like to thank all those members that have participated in past events and that contributed with their work, not only to the success of DiscourseNet, but also to the growing interest in discourse studies in general. I especially would like to mention those over 20 members of the current board who did an incredible work, as well as Aurora Fragonara and Michael Granat from the current steering group. A big, big, big virtual applause for the enormous work they have all done in the past year. As you see, and as you will see during the assembly, running an international association is not an easy task. That's why I would like to invite you all to take a more active role in this association. You can take part in one or several of our groups. You can organize or help organizing events. Or simply you can use the webpage and send around information that could be interesting for all the members. And of course, if you are not yet a member, please become a member, because running an association has also some costs. Also, we try to maintain everything, all our events quite low cost. So thank you very much to all of you for being here, and thanks especially to the board members and the current steering group. And of course, thank you very much to Felicitas for organizing all the administrative stuff about the organization of the election afterwards. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Benno. So I suggest we take a closer look to what has been done. So I would like to invite a representative from a small our unit or groups, as we say, to present what has been done in each group. So you can see in the agenda that the groups presenting are the project proposal group, the working paper series group, and for sure also the post-colonial reading group. Unfortunately, some colleagues, some of our friends and colleagues couldn't join today, so I'm afraid that there will be no presentation for the communication and social media group. And also for the East-Western group, which is like a new group who's actually starting working on some very interesting project. But you can find all the information you need on our website for this group. So I leave the floor to Amélie Kutter from the project proposal group.
Okay, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wow, good. That's a great start. So yeah, I'm Amélie and coordinating the DiscourseNet project proposal group. That's the full name. It has a light bulb symbol on the web page if you want to look it up. Yeah, and as Aurora just said, there are many groups, and some are set up because there are some organizational needs within DiscourseNet Association. Some are simply topic groups, and some try to develop also relations among DiscourseNet members. And I think the research proposal group is under this latter category. So we gather actually in this group, we meet to discuss current research proposals that members of DiscourseNet Association prepare and try to hand in as a grant proposal. So the group comes together to give feedback to the proposal giver regarding, for instance, clarity and stringency of the project idea and the argumentation, match with the funding scheme, contacts and strategies that you might need to improve, the chances of the project, and missing literature, things like that. But also we always consider how this proposal could benefit from the contacts and networks and expertise of the DiscourseNet Association, and how DiscourseNet Association can actually build in as an element of the research proposals. And this is, of course, not only to the benefit of the proposal giver, but also those who give feedback and participate. They learn a lot about how to do proper research proposals and what funding schemes are out there. And also, I think this group has a potential to develop actually joint research projects, within DiscourseNet Association, and kind of, give the collaboration yet another basis, project and research related basis. And you're very welcome to join. You can, for instance, also put into the chat right now your name in case you want to be contacted and included in the group. And you are also invited to always contact me whenever you are in need of feedback for a specific project, specific proposal. Okay, so far.
Aurora, you're muted.
I'm sorry. So I actually, meanwhile, I reposted the agenda in the chat because some members asked us to, and I just wanted to ratify. Actually, Jasper Roe is here for the East Western group. Actually, there was a small misunderstanding because it appears with another name in the chat. So I was looking for Jasper, but long story, there's another name. So we are going to have also a presentation from this group. So well, I leave the floor to Jens for the working paper series.
Okay, hello everybody. I have sent you some slides.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't have it. Wait a second.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I'm trying to see if
you should be able to share.
Yeah, I should be able, but I have a small problem actually.
No problem. I try it.
If you
okay.
Thanks.
Okay, now okay, well, perfect. You can see it now, yeah. Okay. The working paper series is basically the idea to promote ongoing research in discourse studies, generally speaking. We invite papers which are basically able to or have the potential to be published in a journal or somewhere else, but needs some support. So normally in the DiscourseNet collaborative working paper series, you can submit your paper and you get 1 or 2 responses by experts, which are open. So it is not a double-blind peer review, it is a double open peer review, more or less. And in the past, we received 7 regular papers. We also had 2 series. 1 special issue on discourse studies on the corona crisis with 15 papers, and another series on discourse of war with 7 papers. And at the moment, we discuss to develop further our working paper series concept in different categories. First is category A, which is the regular paper. The second is a kind of category B, that is related to special issues. And then we think about to have a category C and D or ND. We are still discuss it. And category C would be a kind of research paper. That is a paper which is based on empirical research, but not yet developed to a publishable paper, which is just a research paper. And the category D would be a kind of impact paper series. That means papers that are documenting ongoing research activities in projects. And the good thing here is that we would be able to get some money from research organizations, for example, because impact is important, and documenting impact is also very important for many research organizations. And here we would be able to document research projects on the one hand, and on the other hand, collect money. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Jens.
I try to unshare.
Okay. Okay, so we proceed with the Spanish reading group. I'm sorry, the post-colonial reading group. It's a little bit different now. And so, if my understanding is correct, there is a small change actually, and Leandro will present him.
Yes, thanks, Aurora. Can you hear me?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. I'm not Sabine, of course, but we created this group with Sabine Hayes, which is right now is in trouble, so she cannot be here. But well, our main object was like to create a group to gather researchers around the topic of post-coloniality or decoloniality and discourse studies, because we thought that there is a field with many potentialities, and I think there are many people interested in those topics. So finally, we create this group. We have initially like 50 or something like that members in the discourse. Now later I put the link of the group. We have till now like 4 meetings. The first meeting was with the former president of ALED, which is I think was great because which is Viviane Resende, and we have like 4 meetings. All these 4 meetings were with the distinguished colleagues from discourse studies and decoloniality here in Latin America, because I think one of also the main objectives of this group is like to tight the relations between DiscourseNet and mainly Latin American researchers, because I think that's I think we have to work on that point. So the meetings had like average like 15 participants. So it was great discussions. The people are really interested. I think we have created a space which is I think for real interest in many countries in Latin America. We have like of course there's a lot of people from Brazil, because discourse studies in Brazil are really extended, but we have also people from Chile, Colombia, Uruguay, Argentina, of course. So I think we have like a great potential in this group. I wish we have like more our news spread a little wider, but I think we are consolidating an important group for discourse studies, and I'm really hopeful we can develop this group a little further. So everybody who has interest in those topics obviously is more than welcome to join and to spread the news about this group. So I think that's the main that's the main activities that we have. I think we have like a fifth encounter. We have a fifth meeting in a couple of weeks. That will be our final meeting this year. But we are just we are already planning the next year with many I think many interest guests from Latin America. So I think that will be it for my side. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Leandro. So now it's Jasper's turn to present the East-West dialogue group.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry. So I had a home issue and I wasn't sure I was going to make it, but then I was able to make it, but I'm not on my account, so it's not my name. So that's where the confusion was. So apologies for that. Okay, so
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Could I have the slides up, please? There was one slide.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So we've been having meetings the last couple of weeks, and the goal of this group is to sort of bridge the geographical space and also the space in sort of culture and knowledge production and research between discourse researchers in the East and discourse researchers in the West, by which we mainly mean Europe. We decided on East-West dialogue, although obviously, you know, that's quite a bipolar way of putting it, and it's not perfect, but for the time being, it's okay. And we've decided between us, there's about 4 or 5 regular members, that our goal is going to be to try and establish some sort of shared research project. At the moment, we're considering looking at the sort of structural inequalities in knowledge production and how they exist in Eastern cultures, and in contrast to how they exist in Western cultures, with a specific focus on language studies, linguistics, and you know, things like requirements for funding, things like issues of inequality, rankings of research, hegemony of specific publishing houses, etc. So at the moment, we're really in a planning stage, and we're looking at this that you see on the slide, the hegemony of Western discourse, analytical methodologies and epistemologies, and how that relates to funding and resource infrastructures. Jaspal was originally the convener, but now I'm taking over as convener. We're going to be having meetings probably once per month, and if anyone else is interested in joining this group, then please let me know via email, and welcome to join and come on board, and hopefully we'll have something within 2024 as a formal beginning of this, or a formal output from this working group in terms of clarifying our ideas. So that's it for me and the East-West dialogue.
Okay, thank you so much. There's no more screen sharing. Can you just confirm that? Okay, great. So, great. Thank you so much. We as a steering group, we also wanted to acknowledge the fact that these are very important groups, but there's a lot also going on in other groups which are, as I said, managing the website, membership, and so on. So there's a lot of work behind, as Benno said, to manage and to run an international association. And so we want to thank all the board members that also committed to these tasks. So next point in our agenda is the financial report. So Michael, it's up to you. And then we will have to vote this report.
Yes, so I'm going to share my screen.
I saw you also put the financial report.
I put it in the chat, but I will also share. Can you see this? This is really odd. Hang on a minute. I need to close the chat and stuff to see this. Can you see my mouse as well? If I wave that, oh, that's brilliant. Good. So I'm sharing with you the financial report for 2022 completely, and the one for 2023 up to the end of October, because obviously it took a bit of time to produce this. I'm very grateful for Annette Knaut to have looked this over and checked this all very, very carefully. So the way this works is basically the income that we have is almost exclusively membership fees, so the €30, sorry, I'm in the wrong country, that you're all paying when you become members, and the outgoing things, as you will see in a moment, have mainly to do with the website. We've got two major accounts that you will see in this report. One is the PayPal account. We used to use PayPal mainly to collect membership fees. We've now switched over to DonorBox, but the DonorBox sometimes uses PayPal and sometimes uses Stripe, depending on what you choose to use there. So we're still having the PayPal account, also because we're having recurrent schemes from before we used the DonorBox, and people have subscribed there, so that's the easiest way. Now, in 2022, when I took this over, there was €625.89 in the PayPal account. Incoming were €2,273.88 as membership fees through that way. The outgoings from the PayPal account were PayPal partner fees. That's something to do with the DonorBox and the payment systems. And then we moved some money to the bank account, which is the association bank account with the Deutsche Skatbank. So by the 31st of December 2022, there was no money left in the PayPal account. The bank account had €2,183 in it. We got some membership fees directly. That was 1,004 and a few cents. So in total, we had sort of incoming with a starting credit, €6,112.80. Now, in these are the outgoings. If you look at this, there's one reimbursement that went to me because I paid the legal fee that we had to pay to the Landesjustizkasse. So basically, when we change, every time we change the three legal representatives, we have to register this in a German court. They charge a fee that was €55, €55, God's sake, €55. And I paid that because this was a very sort of short deadline. I was on holiday, so I paid it through my account and reimbursed it. But the bill is in our accounts anyway. Amazon Web Service is where our web servers are run. The website technically is maintained by Peter Fargas, who we think have to give loads of thanks because he puts in a lot of work into that. Hang on, I have to admit someone. So he gets paid a fixed fee every month. Is it 300? I'm getting confused, but that's the total that we paid him in that year. We also had more in 2023, as you will see in a moment, because we had to upgrade the service. So we negotiated that with him. The other big outgoing we had was the conf tool for DNC5 for our DiscourseNet Congress. That was the way we got all the abstracts and we organized all the abstracts and we run the event. So we outlaid that up front for the Congress. We got that money back. We invoiced, as you will see in 2023, we invoiced the University of Valencia for that. So this was just we funded this up front and we got it back. There were some other legal costs. They were also to do with the change of the legal representatives, because you have to have a notary public for that. So we had to pay them. That's that, and then the bank fees. So we had the outgoings of 5,186 euros and 77 cents. And that meant that we had left 926 euros and 6 cents on the 31st of December. So if we shift that over, we see the same format here again. We have the PayPal account, as I told you, that was at 0 at the 31st, so it still was on the 1st. We had membership fees coming in, 2,739 euros 76. As I didn't need that money, I left it in the PayPal account, so it is still in the PayPal account, also because we are now paying some things through the PayPal account, as you will see. So the first three things are currency conversion and partner fees are fees for PayPal. The donor box invoices is for some donor box transactions. We are charged by the donor box directly and we have to pay that. And the OHV is the provider that provides our domain names, so the discourseanalysis.net and so on. And that has just recently shifted to PayPal because we are in a transition of moving this. So this was this was when we were a network run by Johannes Angermüller, and we are now sort of in the process of formalizing all of that, so that there will be more coming out of the PayPal account in the future. So that's why I'm handling it the way I'm handling it. So on the 31st of October this year, we had 2,650 euros 85 in the PayPal account, and if we need it, we can shift it into the bank account. Bank account, as I just told you, had 926 starting credit, so had that left from the last year. We had a fair amount of membership fees because we had the big DiscourseNet Congress, which helps. So basically, any event that we are organizing, everyone who participates has to be a member. They pay a membership fee. So that's normally the big drive to fund us. We also invoiced the University of Valencia for two things. One was the donor box and the sort of reviewing of the abstract. So we got the donor box money back, and we also invoiced them for the whole running of and selection and so on of the speakers for that. So that's this incoming money, 2,594 euros and 90. There's one slight oddity here. That's the donor box reimbursement for fraudulent transaction. We had, unfortunately, a fraudulent transaction. Nothing happened. We were well advised, luckily. So someone put in 5,500 euros SEPA as a transaction, then emailed us and said, "Oh, I did this by accident. I only wanted to give you 500 euros. Can you reimburse us?" I wrote to the donor box and said, "What happened here?" The donor box said, "Do not, absolutely not reimburse them, because they can get that money back through the SEPA system. So they will get, that's a well-known fraudulent way. So we marked that as fraudulent. What happened? The money came into the bank account, went out of the bank account, and the donor box reimbursed us the fees that they have charged. That's why that is on there. Expenses. We had, as I said, Johannes Angermüller used to run the DN domains through his account, so we used to reimburse him for that. That's in the process of changing, so we have direct access, we pay it directly. But so far we got this, we got the invoices from him, we reimbursed him. Amazon Web Services, again, is the web service that we are running, and then there is the website maintenance that has been paid to Peter Fergus. And one big chunk this year was to set the servers to update them with the new software. That was quite a necessity, because so that you can see this is quite a lot of money that goes on the website. And the reason for that is if you don't maintain a complex website like this, it becomes unsafe. That's the issue. So we are very grateful to have a specialist who works for us who does that, and that's the main running cost. So at the moment we are 2,909 euros in credit, i.e. we still have that there, but we need to remember that all the website costs are recurring costs. So we've got about, and I need to just remember this briefly, I think we agreed 300 euros a month to pay to Peter Fergus, if I remember that correctly. And that is a reoccurring cost. So that's the work that he has to put in on a continual basis to make sure this is all running, make some updates, and so on, develop some more stuff. And that's coming regularly. So that money might look good at the moment, but that's gone quite quickly. Next year, we don't have the DiscourseNet Congress. That means we have only smaller events. That might mean that some membership things are running out. So that's the way this works. So thank you very much to anyone who's become a member. This is really helpful for this sort of website that carries our association. As you can see, any work aside from the website is all done by us as volunteers in the board. There's no money leaving the association for that. So that's how that works. So I think what we should do now, if my understanding of the legal structure is correct, is it would be great if, and I'm unsharing my screen for a second. Can I do that? No, stop share. So I can see you again. I'd like to ask Annette Knaut to confirm that she's sort of checked this and this is correct. And I think then we need to vote on this.
Yes, thank you, Michael. Thank you all. Yes, I have carefully examined the finances and confirmed the report. And I would like to recommend to discharge Michael.
Thank you, Annette, and also thank you for the work you put in looking through all the numbers. There were quite a lot of numbers, so it was very, very helpful also to make sure that my layout for this is readable. So I'm very grateful for that.
So thank you both of you. Really, it was a great work. When I see numbers personally, I tend to freak out. So thank you again for doing that. So if my understanding of the legal procedure is correct, we have to vote, and of that I'm sure. But for the vote, which means the approval of the financial report, you have to be a member of the DiscourseNet Association. So while I'm just saying that for the sake of our participants today. So referring to our status, the first question I have to ask is that anyone is against a public vote. You can put your answers or reactions in the chat. It appears to me that no one is against a public vote, so everybody is in favor of that. So next question will be, is someone against the financial report, or does someone not approve is not approving the financial report that was presented? I guess I don't see any reaction, I mean, in the chat. So everybody in favor? In favor, let's say. There's also one possibility. Do someone abstain, actually, from the approval? I would say no. So nobody is against, nobody is abstain. So we can say everybody approves the financial report. Okay, great.
Brilliant, thank you very much.
So we skip into the next point, which will be the changing of status, as I anticipated while presenting the agenda. So on that one, I will leave the floor to Benno to present some changing we would like to propose for the status.
Okay, thank you, Aurora. Can you please share the status with the changes marked in red, either for all on the screen or in the chat, so everybody can see exactly the changes we proposed.
Okay,
these are mainly three changes. The first is about the length of the term of the steering group. The last two times, the term was for 2 years, but we think it took us almost 1 year to understand how DiscourseNet works and all the parts of DiscourseNet of this diverse group. So we think we want to change it to a 3-year term, which is quite important to make this decision before the elections, so you know for what you are voting. Which also means that the assembly will be every 3 years instead of 2 years. Yes, so there were several changes regarding this point. Then the second point is about the, you have it. There's a second point, which is privacy statement, so that everybody working for or in collaboration with DiscourseNet is required not to disclose personal information about the members. This there was no problem with that, but we just wanted to make sure that the statement is there in order to anticipate the problems. And the third point was, can you?
The membership.
The membership, because there's still, we do not want to increase the membership fee, but there's a general problem that people become member for the big events like this one in Valencia, where we had a lot of new members. And then the next year, when there's no big events, the membership, the number of members are dropping. So as we still plan to have a big event every 2 years, we want to maintain the membership for at least 2 years. So members have to pay 60 euros and become members for at least 2 years, which is still 30 euros a year. It's not an increase, but it guarantees a stability, a financial stability, as you have seen in the financial report by Michael. This is very important to have financial stability in order to be able to calculate our costs of our association. So these are the 3 changes.
Okay.
And I think we should vote them separately.
We have to vote. Felicitas, you want to say something?
Yes, before we vote, we should I understood there's time for discussion before we vote. The one thing is, I put it in the chat that a slight change to the wording that I suggest we change the wording to is required to not disclose and to third parties. But the second thing, biannual, I think means it twice a year. But you mean every 2 years, right? For the membership fee. So the wording
Yes,
would be to change for every 2 years, not biannual.
every 2 years, yeah.
Yeah,
I believe
is a 2-year membership.
Yeah. Okay.
So we should.
So I suggest making those changes before we do the vote to the wording.
Aurora, can you do that in your document so we just make sure we have this captured somewhere?
Yes. So private info, or you said, and for the payment, instead of biannual fee every 2 years. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I find the wording a bit misleading in the statutes. So maybe it would be easier to talk of a fee of 60 euros for 2 years.
So just do you need to simplify it to say we have a 2-year and every membership is a 2-year membership and the membership fee is 60 euros? Makes sense to me.
Yeah. What do the other thing about that? Okay, so
it might be useful to just do when the changes are done to see them again on this, to show them to everyone.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So the fee for okay, so I'm sharing this again. No, wait. Okay. So can you see the documents, the funding documents again?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. So I rephrased with private information to the parties. Yes, yeah. Is that okay for this one? I mean, it's not the formal vote. It's just for me to be sure that I understood the change, the rephrasing you were suggesting in a correct way, let's say.
Sorry, and was it personal before, not private? Sorry, that was my mistake. I didn't mean to change that, but just the third parties and I think it needs to be is required to not disclose. The not and the to the other way around.
Yeah, to not disclose. To not disclose. Personal would be correct, you think?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Amendment to third parties. Okay. And okay, I try to sum up all these suggestions I got for this part for the membership.
I'm wondering if you should just wear the annual.
30 euros is a lot. 6,030 euros is a lot.
Yeah. No,
okay.
Just wondering if
it's 30 is deleted.
If the
yeah, it's not, yeah.
If it should be the membership fee for individual members is just as to have the text clear there.
You mean membership?
Yeah,
here?
membership fee. Yeah,
Membership.
that's what I think is the way we should phrase it.
Because if we say from the beginning that it is 60 for 2 years, so we don't need to add all that. So members need to pay at least for 2 years or so on. And we can skip directly to membership starts dating back to the 1st of January upon payments and runs for the period. Okay. And we prefer a permanent renewable order for the payment at this point, because we already said that it is 60 for 2 years. Does it look clear or understandable, let's say, or is there something you want to change?
I would take the permanent renewable out and call it recurring. And it's certainly not permanent because they won't have to pay for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
But Felicitas is the native speaker here, so maybe.
Recurrent sounds good. A renewable alone would be okay as well. There's a lot more native speakers in here than me.
We prefer also a renewable order
yes.
for payment. Okay.
I think it looks perfect.
Okay. So any other suggestions or so if not, I don't see any message on this, I mean in the chat. No. Okay, so we should formally vote again. So same procedure as before, which means the first question I'm asking is as follows: is anyone against the public vote for the on the changing of the status? No? Okay. There's only either no reaction, either a no answer in the chat. So next question will be, is anyone against this changing in the status? So we're getting some no, so which means no, the people are not against this changing, I guess. And do someone abstain? So no abstention. So nobody is against, nobody is abstain, so everybody approves. And I guess that's all on this point. Okay. Okay, so I'm seeing some message. I'm in favor of all changes and so on. Did we had to vote each change? I mean, at what each change, by the way, or we can do as we already did the 3 changes together.
I think if anyone wanted that separate vote, they could have asked, but we can give us a second. Does anyone want to separate out these 3 changes and vote on them?
So okay, we can say that everybody approves of the changes are approved. Okay, great. So we actually ran through all the points, which leaves some, let's say, 20 minutes for questions and debate before we proceed to the explanation of the election process. So is there any question? Idea, something you actually want to know, or you are dying for asking to the legal representatives about the association?
Questions at the moment, or if you have questions for the assembly, you can also always write us an email to the association, to me personally, if there are any points you want to discuss. But I see Emily. Sorry.
I just wanted to ask, so are we now in the debate section, or is there another section after you presented yourself as a steering group?
We are now in the debate section of the assembly, but there will be a second debate section for the election.
Okay.
So this is to close the assembly and then to open the
sure.
election.
So I have no questions at the moment.
Okay, so I think we can actually with the explanation of the election procedure, and Felicitas, in this case, it's up to you.
Okay, thank you. I hope you can see the election slide now. The election proceeds in 3 sections. I have some information first, then the candidates will present their programme, and then I'll talk us through the technical details of how the vote proceeds. So if you have any questions at any point, you can email this email, elections@discourseanalysis.net. I'll be monitoring that email, especially for the whole of this week when the election runs. So the DiscourseNet, the legal statutes say in German, because we're registered in Germany and the translation is below, that the legal representatives shall be elected every 2 years. Okay, we just changed that to 3 years. The legal representatives comprise at least 3 members of the association: the president, the treasurer, and the secretary. And that is for whom we will be voting today. From 2021 to 2023, Benno Herzog has been and is still president, Aurora Fragonara has been and is still secretary, and Michael Kranert has been and is still treasurer. And since the 3 of them have been doing grand thanks to everybody involved today so far, I have the pleasure of thanking Benno, Aurora, and Michael for all the work they've been doing. This is your bunch of flowers. Thanks very much for everything you have done. It's on a bike, so it can transport easily to all your 3 different locations where you are just now. There's a lot of visible work goes into running an organisation like DiscourseNet, but there's also an awful lot of invisible work that goes in. So thank you 3 for all the invisible and visible work that you've been doing over the last 2 years. I'm not in the board anymore, so I'm only to enthuse about how active the whole board is under your guidance as legal representatives, and bringing people in and giving the energy, also bringing the energy to do the different activities in the different groups. And I'm always amazed by how much is going on online and in face-to-face. So thank you for that. Now the question is, I have changed this slide 2023 to 2026 for the 3 years. Who's going to be president, who's going to be secretary, and who's going to be treasurer for the next time? I'll say a little bit now about the election procedure, but I'll come back to the slide after they have presented their programme and their ideas for the next slot. Members, so paid up members, active members, will receive an individual link to Balotilo, which is our voting software, by email. When you receive this email, you click on the link and you will see the names and the team listed. You vote for the team of legal representatives in one vote. You can vote yes, no, or abstain from the vote. And after you check one of the boxes, yes, no, abstain, you click I vote and it goes off. The voting begins today after the presentation and it ends at 11:30 p.m. Central European Time on Friday the 24th of November. I'll come back to this again, as I said, and add some more details after the candidate team have presented their proposals. So I'll stop sharing now.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Ben. Felicitas, Benno. It's up to you.
Yeah, thank you, Felicitas. So I start as a legal representatives. We learned a lot in the last years, and we also suffered a lot during the COVID-19 pandemic. And as I said previously, we needed at least 1 year to understand how DiscourseNet works. So we think we should not abandon now that we understand how DiscourseNet works and present ourselves for a second term. One thing we learned also is that what is most important for DiscourseNet are not the legal representatives, but the active members and the participants, the board members and those who organize events. So again, I would like to thank all of those who contributed to the different activities during the last 2 years. As you know, DiscourseNet tries to be a non-hierarchical and very collaborative association. So what we present now, what I will present now, and what we sent around also a few weeks ago, is not a program in the classical sense, something that we as legal representatives want to achieve, but more a basis so that those who want to develop activities together with DiscourseNet can do so. So our proposal for the next years, therefore, is mainly aiming at improving the structure of DiscourseNet, which should help to make these activities more interesting and joyful. Our main points that we sent already around a few weeks ago, therefore, centers around the reorganization of the internal structure of the work of DiscourseNet and of the board of DiscourseNet. So, for example, we would like to elaborate a clear social media strategy for all DiscourseNet activities. We want to create clear responsibilities for the working group. So also the tasks in the working groups are done collaboratively. One member of each working group will be the contact person. So the members of the working groups themselves should create clear responsibilities for each task they need to perform. Furthermore, the groups should go on working autonomously. However, for special tasks which include the coordination between groups, one coordinator from the steering group might be assigned to each group. Furthermore, we are aiming at a more diverse board. We are aiming at further internationalization beyond Europe and creating a balance between old and new board members. We learned also that unfortunately some board members were less active than others. So after half term, we will revise and eventually substitute inactive board members. The board meeting itself will be prepared, of course, by the legal representatives and those interested in preparing the meeting. And we want to concentrate clearly on tasks, on responsibilities, and on deadlines. So things are not just said and then they disappear, but it's really clear what has been done by whom and until when. And for example, tasks that have to be done in the first year are, for example, the translation of the web page or creating a new landing page of the web page that includes a call to action to become a member. Perhaps you may be disappointed that this proposal does not include big promises, but as I said, all this is meant not to create. All this is meant to create the basis that you all could work in or together with DiscourseNet and develop your own plans regarding events, projects, publication, or career plans. So the association is here for you all, but of course, this requires your help and input. Our aim is to make this help and input as easy as possible. So we very much hope you will support us during this journal. Thank you very much. And then now we present the three candidates. I start with me, as I'm the candidate for the president. I'm currently professor of sociology at the University of Valencia in Spain. I'm the president of DiscourseNet, the director of the Institute of Creativity and Educational Innovation at the University of Valencia, and director of the research group on critical theory, also at the University of Valencia. I work on discourse studies, mainly discourse theory, and the notion of critique in discourse studies. I also work on critical theory, discrimination, racism, and anti-Semitism, and sometimes I do a little bit of sociology of wine and drinking. Yeah, thank you very much. And then I think I give the mic to Aurora, who will present herself.
Yes, I was giving the mic to Michael actually, but it's okay. Yes, I'm Aurora Fregonara. I'm a linguist. I currently work at the University of Poitiers in France. My main research interest and also my field of work is discursive and textual semantics, with an interest for cognitive linguistics also. In my language of work, I say my language of work, which means the language I'm working on and I'm looking at for corporate and so on, are French, English, and Italian. So I give the mic to Michael now.
Yes, hello. I'm Michael Kranert. I'm currently an associate professor in sociolinguistics at the University of Southampton in the UK. I mainly work in linguistic discourse analysis. I've worked in and around populism and moving into sort of language of local government and local government and sustainability discourses currently. I'm co-organizing the London, the Open DiscourseNet London seminar, and I'm also running a discourse and sustainability seminar through DiscourseNet. At the moment, I've been the treasurer for a bit, and I'm really glad to be a small but essential wheel or node in this complex network. But I want to underline what Benno said, that we are sort of trying to be a network of flat hierarchies. So we as the legal representatives are registered and speaking for you, but we are not dictating the program. This is your program that we are implementing, and the board is quite essential in that, and your input is quite essential in that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I totally agree, of course. So there is now time for question and debate again. I would say that we can have more or less 20 minutes for question and debate. But of course, as Benno said, you can also email us for questions, for any also idea you have for DiscourseNet. Yes, Amélie?
Yeah. Hello again. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. I'd also like to thank you as steering group that you have moderated this learning process so productively. As you know, I've intervened earlier just to raise some issues to make sure that this learning process also you know, is effectively used for the further organization of DiscourseNet association. And I see two dilemmas. The one is, as we all know, that we have so many users of the websites, but are always in shortage of financial means to actually sustain this website. And the other one, I think, is, and there actually, because I know that you work on the first one already, I'd like to ask you what you think to do or help us board groups to become more effective with regard to the fact that actually there are different categories of groups, like the flat hierarchy approach and the philosophy that I endorse and appreciate so much. It works very much for self-organized topic groups, but then for the groups that deal with essential services, I think we need some tighter coordination actually among ourselves and with the steering group. So what would be your ideas on that? How to make a website, membership group, and a social media group, and finances more interrelated?
Yeah, thank you very much, Amelie. You mentioned a big problem. There are groups that are more fun than other groups. So there are groups more attractive for board members than other groups. You named the topic groups. You can frame it in that way perfectly. What we currently we have put it together a proposal for the new board. There's still some space in the new board. So there's still, if someone still wants to become a member of the new board, they can become member. And when we made the list of possible new board members and we contacted each of them, we made very clear that it's not possible only to be a board member, so that people in the board have to be at least in one group. Almost everybody is in two or more groups, so everybody has to be involved. And we made sure that in all the groups, you mentioned especially those who are not so far at all, so for example, membership group, that in all of the groups, there are enough people to manage that group, that they are capable people, and that there's one responsible in each group. Because a problem in former times was that we sent an email to all the members of that group, and nobody feels especially responsible. So now we have one responsible in each group, who then have to come back to us or to others who ask for something. I'm not sure this responds to all your questions. There will still be the problem often of coordinating between groups, and we have to see, I think, in every case, which kind of coordination is required and desired by the groups.
And also may I add that, as Benno said, since we are also focusing on deadlines and so on, one of idea was also to put together a management plan. Let's say it's maybe a too formal word, but that it will be something run very gentle in any case. So no worries. Which allows us to, which would allow us, let's say, to have an idea of what's going on in each group also. If you also the fact of having like a person responsible for each group should like smooth the communication and the between groups and in the board also, I would say.
And do you think it would be good to have a strategy agreed among these groups for essential services, how we proceed together, something like this? Like the management plan or the process plan would be kind of the organizational basis for it, but we might need also a vision, you know, how to deal with members, how to, operate the website and so on in future.
Yeah, the organization of the inner organization, as you know, of DiscourseNet works like the groups are working autonomously, and every 2 months they come together in the board, and then there will be discussed the needs for the groups, some decision that may have to be taken or be discussed by all the whole board. And if there is a desire for special needs coordination or special relations between groups, then that is the space where we can discuss about that. And this is nothing we can now theoretically discuss about how the groups should fit together, be coordinated. I think this has to be taken in each case when a specific group encounters problems and needs and requires some kind of coordination.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I see Michael.
Yeah, I think Benno is right here. We need to coordinate this within the board meetings, and what Aurora has already done is we've got a sort of a tracker of agreed things that we need to do, and that an action grid that we can revisit every time. And I think one of the things we can do, Amelie, is to potentially also agree on some, and also on some rotas if necessary, you know, to say who's doing this, who's responding to emails that week, or who's responding to emails another week. At the moment, we had the major issue that some of the groups were very small, some of the groups were also very unbalanced. And what I mean by that is there were basically one person doing it and 2 other people not responding. I know we are all very, very busy people. And if we could find a better way of nailing that down for the essential things, I totally agree that would be a good thing to do. So we should take that to the next board meeting and say, can we find a tool for us where we say, this is what we want to do, this is how we want to do this. One of the ways we've been tackling this now is, as Benno said, we've got a contact person for each of the groups, so we don't have this, I email 5 people and no one feels responsible. The other one is to really monitor that people who are on the board and who said they agreed to do certain things are doing it. And if they cannot do it, they need to say. They need to say what they can and cannot do. So we have a clear agreement when we are doing things. So I absolutely agree is a necessity, and this should be a sort of core topic for the next board and the next board meeting.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Yes, I agree. Also, I think that that could be very useful actually once the board is appointed and elected, that that the next board actually comes together and each group actually present its vision, what they want to do and so on. Or present or represent actually, because during these 2 years we also had some discussion on what we want to do, where we are going and so on, which direction we are taking.
I see Emily still has her hand raised. Do you want to add something?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm done.
Okay, some other question?
Not only questions, but also critique, ideas,
yes,
comments.
Yeah, of course. I'm checking the chat.
Yes, can I speak?
Jens?
Yes, I want to thank you very much for your work, which was very, very good, very helpful, and very productive. So you are my legal representatives, and I hope you will proceed as you did in the past. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jens.
Thanks. So somebody else? I see no message, no comments in the chat, and I see no hand basically. Benno, can you confirm?
Yeah, I also see no hands. I have problems to enter the chat because I'm using the mobile phone, as I'm currently in Brazil.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I don't know why, but I cannot see every participant. So that's why I'm asking.
There's no. I have the participant list open. There's no hand up. There's nothing more in the chat, and there's also no one in the waiting room. So we are.
So okay, so I think we can wrap it up, basically.
Did we say we hand it back to Felicitas, right?
Oh yeah, right.
And I will share the screen again. I'm going to repeat some things for those who are in the room just for a minute, because then we can chunk this as a video for everyone who is not with us at the moment. So, thank you for your patience with me. I am going to mention now the technical aspects of how the election works. If you have any questions at any point, you can email me at this email, elections@discourseanalysis.net, which I will monitor carefully for the upcoming week. We are voting for the President, Secretary and Treasurer in one vote for a 3-year term, which was just decided in the statutes, in the change to the statutes. You will each receive an individual email from Balotilo by email. It is helpful if you check in your spam folder as well as your emails, in case the Balotilo email goes into the spam folder. You have a personalized link in that, and you'll see the names listed for each position as the team of legal representatives, the Vorstand officially in German. You can vote for this team, you can vote against this team, or you can abstain. And then at the bottom of the page, there's a thing which says, I vote in different languages according to which language you have your server set on. The voting will begin straight after this, when I activate the vote, and it runs until Friday, the 24th of November at 11:30 p.m. Central European time. This is what the email looks like that you will receive. There's a special link on here where the XXX is. The link is personal. Be careful not to communicate it. It says it says the end of the election date, and you have a control key specifically there. After the voting has ended, you can use the same link, and you can see for yourself the numbers who have voted for, against, or abstained. But we will, of course, as the election officer, I will communicate next week after the voting is finished. And after the 3 observers to the election vote who are in the system as observers have confirmed that those are the right numbers. Some technical things. If you don't receive an email within an hour after voting has started, please reach out to me. An hour, because Balotilo, so that it doesn't end up in the spam folder, sends it not all at once, but in a series. And we have 278 registered voters, so it might take an hour to get to you. It could be that we have an old email registered for you, or that something is wrong with the email. So if you don't receive an email and you think you should receive an email as a paid up active member of DiscourseNet, please contact me at this email, elections@discourseanalysis.net. Perhaps also let me know of any old email address that may have been registered, and then I can check the register and I can replace the old one with a new one, if that's what's happened. When you click the link, you see something like this: DiscourseNet Association Reps 2023, organized by DiscourseNet. And then the question, do you elect the following team to be the legal representatives of the International Association for Discourse Studies? Benno Herzog as president, Aurora Fragonara as secretary, and Michael Kranert as treasurer. You can click here, yes, no, or abstain. And at the bottom, because I'm in Germany, it says Ich stimme ab. It says it in various languages, depending on where you are. I vote, click that, and then off it is. And you should receive a confirmation that you have voted. That's all the technical details just now. Are there any questions about the technical running of the election? Does anyone who's present in the meeting at the moment have any questions about that? I don't see anything in the chat. I don't see anything here, any comments or any hands. So I will now stop sharing and activate the vote, and you should receive an email from Balotilo within the next hour. Then thank you very much for your attention for this part. I look forward to active voting from everybody who receives an email, and I'll be in touch on Monday after the 3 election officers, Yannick Forscher, Thomas Jacobs and Johannes Bates, have confirmed that the numbers are correct, and we'll be in touch with you then. There is only one team standing. It is important that we have a large number of votes for this team to support their mandate over the next 3 years. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for organizing that and for explaining all the technical details, actually. I would say that now we can wrap it up. I would really like to thank everyone who took the time to participate today to our General Assembly. And thank you also for all the interest you showed, the questions, and I would also thank you, the board, for all the work they have been doing the last 2 years. So, as Felicitas said, happy voting, everybody, and well, bye-bye. Benno, just Benno, Michael, if you want to add something.
Just a word of thank you. Thanks also to Aurora for running so smoothly through the assembly, to Felicitas for helping us with the election procedure, and of course to all of you who showed up in this democratic and decision-making space of DiscourseNet. Thank you, and I hope we will see each other of you in the next DiscourseNet events.
Thanks everyone, from me as well. Thank you.